And We TV could be short for weddings this weekend. They're going to have their ultimate wedding Sunday, and we learned more this morning from one of the most celebrated wedding planners in the country. I got to talk about Sunday with David Tutera. Everyone, of course, has been thinking about weddings ever since Chelsea Clinton got married. Everyone started talking about what she wore, and I know that you've worked with some folks in the White House, right?
I have, both the White House and the VP's house. I have had the opportunity. It's been exciting.
All right. So how do you go from, working with such big-name clients to giving advice to we lowly folk, we humble...
Don't ever say that.
I'm kidding. Trust me, I don't believe that. I hope you know that. Okay, so let's talk about this. Your show is very popular. Of course, people love weddings and love to learn more about them. What are some of your good basic tips for just things to do and things to avoid?
Hold on. Well, one of the most important things is I tell all my brides, no matter what their budget is to take the process very slowly. The thing is, they get engaged and they get very overwhelmed very quickly. And if they can actually dissect the pieces of the wedding puzzle, all the planning stages, and deal with them individually, they won't make bad decisions because they get so stressed and so concerned, and, as I said, so overwhelmed that sometimes they make quick decisions that are the wrong decisions.
And some of those quick decisions can be about attire, about where people are sitting. I mean, you can make some really big faux pas when you're in that frame of mind, right?
You honestly can. And another very important tip I tell all of my girls is don't begin to ask too many questions to too many different people, because then you have all of these opinions and it confuses you even more. Pick a hand-select group of people you trust. Maybe your mom, your girlfriend, someone that may not even be in the bridal party that could be your confidant. And that'll help you sort of give a sounding board for you to go to get some better advice.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I know a lot of girls, when they're choosing who is going to be in their wedding, they may just choose someone because, well, I've known them forever, but they're not necessarily the best person to have in a position of helping you stay organized.
Gold jewelry?
That's right. It's true that, here's something that comes up all the time is that girls always want their weddings to be different. They get the ring, they get engaged, they're very excited. How do they make their wedding different? And unfortunately, they often go into a safe zone. So they pick a wedding that's very comfortable and expected, and it doesn't create something that's memorable and unique.
Okay, speaking of memorable and unique, you've got some episodes that feature a pirate bride, a bride who wears cowboy boots. I mean, these are not your run-of-the-mill weddings here.
They're not. I mean, we're in season 3 right now, and I have met some really interesting brides, all of which I love, all of which have crazy concepts and ideas and directions that are sort of shocking, shall I say, to me. And I love it. First of all, it makes great television.
Yeah, of course.
And the thing about the girls, they're not faking this. These are directions, these are paths that they've picked way before I even knocked on their front door. And I have to tell you, it's challenged me to a place that I never thought I'd have to think as hard as I've been working on this show to come up with a way to make these weddings work for them.
Yeah, you have to play not only wedding planner, designer, and all of this, but you're also playing psychiatrist, aren't you?
I am. I'm glad you said that. I play psychiatrist. I play best friend.
Yep.
I play therapist. I think wedding planner is the hat that I put on last.
Yeah, isn't that something? And they pay you to do all of this, but really what they want is someone to be on their side. It seems like that's really what a bride wants, is someone who says, I understand. And maybe that's why Bridezillas, what Bridezillas really need is probably just someone to say, hey, I get it, I understand what stress you're feeling.
It's true, and what's wonderful about the girls is and as you just said, they want someone that's going to listen. That's the most important thing to them.
Yeah. So when you think about this show that you're doing, and you're in your 3rd season, I mean, what is it about the show that you think makes it such a hit? I mean, some of it is, of course, the antics that happen, some of the brides, but do you think people are watching sometimes to get ideas for ways that they can incorporate some of the things you do on their own wedding?
Absolutely. I mean, this show, My Fair Wedding, it definitely gives the ability for girls to learn what to do for their own wedding. But I think the reason why it's become so successful is because it's a positive, feel-good show. I mean, it's almost as if when I knock on their front door, it's like they've won the wedding lottery. I mean, they're getting their dreams to come true. And I didn't realize when I began to work on this show that I'd be really coming in and changing their lives. I mean, if you think about it, the show not only gives them a beautiful wedding, a new vision to their poor poorly guided vision.
Yes.
It changes their lives. I give them makeovers. I teach them how to live far beyond just that special day and have a great life with their husband.
Isn't that great? Look at, like you said,
really
the wedding planner, the last hat you even put on at the end of the day. You know, I only know one wedding planner, and he's one of my best friends. Sean Rabideau, actually, he just finished doing Bethany Frankel getting married, and he says the same thing. It's like, you know, you do all this stuff, but really, you're there to be her friend and to be her confidant.
That's right.
Oh, good. I can't wait to watch.
And you have to listen. That's the most important thing.
And ABC will have a coverage of all the pomp and circumstance starting at 4 a.m. our time. You can still catch 13 Wham News this morning. You can catch our usual 5 to 7 a.m. broadcast, but it will be on Rochester's CW, cable channel 16, digital 13.2 on that day. All right, so while we're talking weddings, let's bring in wedding planner to the stars, David Tutera. He joins us live now to talk to us, of course, all about the royal wedding. I need to hear your thoughts. What are some of the things you're going to be looking for on the day of the royal wedding? What will you be zeroing in on?
You know, I'm really looking forward to this wedding for so many reasons. I mean, she really is our modern day princess. I mean, we are going to have billions of people watching this, hoping for new trends, new directions. There's a lot of traditionalism, a lot of protocol that she has to follow, which is understandably, but she is making changes in the protocol, and I'm hoping in fashion she isn't as conservative as I think people are expecting, so I'm hoping to see something that truly makes a statement for all brides to look at for years to come for fashion.
And do you think that's what, well, of course she's going to set the tone. I mean, already everything she wears, people are already noticing and commenting on. Do you think that there's anything from this wedding that we can glean, that we can maybe borrow for our own weddings, if there's any brides watching? I mean, what can a woman do here in the States?
Absolutely. I mean, every girl now, even if they're a little girl watching, is going to go back in time and say, Princess Catherine did this, I want to do the same exact thing. So there are big expectations on trends. Whether they're the same trends with a little bit of an altercation to them, Princess Catherine is going to set the tone for weddings to come for the next 10, 20 years. I mean, I've focused even on a line of jewelry that allows my brides to feel like a princess, to feel like Princess Catherine, to see a beautiful sparkle on their finger that adds personality. 4 different collections at Sears that allows them to feel like a princess. You know, Catherine has that fabulous ring from Princess Di, the sapphire.
Yeah.
In each of my rings, I added a genuine sapphire stone to feel like Princess Catherine. You know, it's the hype now. We want to know how to become this princess. Well, heading to Sears, you have a little bit of Princess Catherine, my design, a collection that suits you as a bride. And it's so timely. It's perfect for what's happening right now.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's probably really affordable for people who are looking at this wedding and thinking, oh my goodness, you know, how could I ever match up to that? What are some other ways that brides can, you know, feel like the princess that they want to feel like on their wedding day? What are some other tips you have?
You know, Norma, you've asked the exact question, which I think is asked every day of my life as a wedding planner.
Right,
how do I do things which can be done with a budget? And all these wonderful accessories to the side here at Joanne Crafts is a way that you can do DIY for your own wedding at home. And you can add the sparkle, the bling, the pearls, the details to your candles, your bouquet, your shoes, your accessories. These are ways to truly find who you are personality-wise. You know, starting from the ring on your finger, which is adding your personality, to the details to your wedding, which adds even more personality. I will always say it. You have to tell the story of who you are as a bride. Princess Catherine is going to be doing that. Every bride that's about to walk down the aisle has to do that. And with both of these collections, it helps it become easier for you. And it also becomes a budget-friendly way of doing it, giving you more money to add to the rest of your wedding.
Can I see that shoe? Did you embellish that shoe, or is that just me?
Yeah. Look at this. Inexpensive shoe embellished with adhesive rhinestones along the back and on the buckle. Again, making you feel like a princess and having extra money for everything else.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing what you can do now. DIY certainly has a very chic feel to it. It's totally changed. Where can people go for more information, David?
Thank you. If you go to Sears.com or in stores at Sears, or Joann.com and in stores at Joann, you can have some fun finding the perfect ring and also add that sparkle to all the accessories for your wedding.
David Tutera, thank you so very much. And we'll be watching, and I know you'll be watching the big
I will
royal
be
wedding.
watching.
All right, thank you. Your local headlines coming up next. Stay with us. And there's a lot of things that you do that are tradition, time-honored traditions, things you don't do without at a wedding, right? I'm sure when you planned your wedding, same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to wedding planner David Tutera. He's got a number of events going on himself, new episodes of his new TV series, My Fair Wedding, and a new book called The Big White Book of Weddings. I had a chance to talk to him recently about both of those and was surprised to hear him talk about a wedding tradition that he says couples can do without. Take a listen. I want to talk about, you continue to really bring bridal planning, down to its core. Really is you've got to consider your budget. Let's be honest. I'm sure whenever you meet with a bride, that's among the first things she talks to you about, right?
Well, unfortunately, it's not the first thing that they talk about, and it should be the first thing that comes up. The problem is that when they're planning their wedding, the first question they need to have answered is how much money is their budget to spend on the details of their wedding. And you never really want to go into the equation of going, well, this is how you do it, and how do I get it executed if you don't have the funds to do it? So it becomes a little bit, unfortunately, confusing to the girls.
Yeah, and I know on your show, you bring this up. This is what you bring up with a lot of the girls. They want to talk about this. They also probably want your take on everything from the dress to, everything else, which of course you're the wedding planner. You would. Do you ever get asked questions that, probably a therapist probably should answer? I mean, are you part psychologist as well as wedding planner?
Every single time. I always say I'm more like the best friend, the therapist, the mediator. I'm sometimes the wedding planner last, but for me, I have to answer all those questions because I learned so much more about the girls that I'm allowed then to put the hat on as the wedding planner to then give them the wedding that they deserve to have.
Yeah. You say that the trick to having your dream wedding is to have a vision and then do a revision. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is basically come up with your idea and begin the process and then stop. Literally stop the planning. Take a back seat. Give it a breath, a couple weeks perhaps, to let it sit in the corner. It's like as a writer. You write and you go back and you reread. As a bride, go back and look at the vision, and you're going to see things that you didn't really like what you've planned, and then you'll revise the concept and wind up with a better direction.
Now, your book covers a lot of this territory, but also some interesting things like, and I've never heard anyone give advice on this before, so this is really unique, what to say to your guests in the receiving line. I just remember I kind of winged it. I was like, well, thanks for coming. But you say, think about it ahead of time, right?
Yeah, you want to sort of have that moment during the receiving line to be very short and very sincere because you want to be able to address everybody. It's not that time to open up a conversation and a dialogue. You never want to make someone feel a little uncomfortable if you don't know who their guest is or you forgot someone's name. You have to be prepared for the right etiquette because if you choose to do a receiving line is the most proper level of etiquette you can execute for your wedding. I'm not saying a receiving line is right for everybody. In fact, if you choose to want to have more time doing photos or more time at the cocktail party, then don't do a receiving line at all.
Okay, now that I've never heard of before, I guess. I guess people tend to think that there are certain rules about a wedding that are kind of hard and fast, but a receiving line is one of those that you can dispense with depending on your situation.
Oh, yeah. I'm a wedding planner of 25 years, and I'm a firm believer that there are no rules to planning your wedding. Your wedding is yours, and you don't have to follow all of the etiquette to make that wedding so perfect. It is who you are as a bride and groom. And there may be moments that you think are supposed to happen because you were told they're supposed to happen, and you need to reevaluate your plans so they work for what you're looking for. I mean, it's your day. It's not someone else's day who's telling you what needs to happen.
Yeah, and I know that some parents would disagree. I've heard parents say, the wedding is for us, not you. Fortunately, mine didn't say that, but...
You were very lucky.
Really quickly, before we go, we only have about a minute left. Are there any trends in 2011? Are you seeing, because of the economy, anything that maybe brides and grooms are doing that's different because of the times that we're in at all?
Well, what I'd like to give advice and create a trend for all my future brides is that their weddings really need to have heart. They need to tell a story. They need to break the formula, the mold of the traditional cookie-cutter wedding. And I find that that is something that everyone does out of safety. So find a way to really make it more unique, put a stamp on it that's yours. Set the tone that it allows the guests to leave feeling like they've gone to a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and that does not equate to spending a lot of money. It's not easy, but find a way to tell your story as a couple.
Yeah, I love that. The best advice of all, really. David, thank you so much for your time. And again, David Tutera.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Host of the show, My Fair Wedding, and also the book as well. You've got a new book out. And again, have a vision and then do a revision. Love that advice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no receiving line.
We got that book as a part of to do the interview, and I'm a maid of honor. I snatched that book up.
Yeah. She was
and
like,
I'm going to get some pointers through there.
Yeah, it's amazing how people reinvent weddings. They really do.
Well, coming up your own.
Yeah.
Courtney, thank you very much. Let's get back to talking about the real victims in society, the Kardashians.
Yeah, we left off a little while ago with celebrity wedding planner David Tutera. He was on a satellite tour promoting his show, My Fair Wedding. Well, after doing all those interviews all morning now, believe it or not, I was the first reporter to ask him about the Kardashians, and he was honest. Here was his response. Does it ever disappoint you when here you are, David Tutera, you're helping plan this wedding, and you're giving all your expert advice and your years of experience, you're putting your all into this celebrity wedding, and then it ends like 72 days later. Does it ever break your heart to hear those stories, or just make you go, oh my gosh?
It doesn't typically, but in this situation with the Kardashians, I have to tell you, it infuriates me. And I have been somewhat on a bandwagon of trying to just sort of explain to people that, you can't do things for the wrong reasons. I don't have facts to say they did the wedding for publicity and for their television show, but you can't tell me for 1 second this wasn't figured out way before they walked down that aisle.
Ooh, David, sharp words. I don't think you're one. You've never been one to mince your words, so I'm not surprised in a way. A lot of people felt duped, and do you think that events like that, or when weddings or marriages as high profile as theirs go south, it kind of takes a little of the shine off of what you do?
What upsets me is I take my weddings for my girls extremely serious. I think it really affects the sanctuary of marriage. I think it sort of mocks what we work so hard on and what women are looking for. Everybody wants to fall in love. Everybody wants to find that perfect someone, walk down the aisle and live a life of happiness with them. And when you see a situation like this happen, I think it's a pretty big slap in all of our faces. And for me, it upsets me because My Fair Wedding, these couples are getting married because they love each other. Not because they want to be on TV, not because they want a free wedding, but because they have a dream. And my job is to make their dream come true. What these other people did, I think, is a really disgrace.
Well, I had to ask you that. Having, you're so in touch with all these celebrities. I mean, I'm sure that's something that you and people in your community have talked about, and just kind of like what's going on. But back to your show and back to what you're doing. I love that this season. I mean, are there any surprises in this season that you can give us a hint about?
Oh gosh, I'm excited about the first episode because we're sort of breaking the format. This is a young boy at the age of 15 that was diagnosed with cancer that the Make-A-Wish Foundation wanted to grant him his wish. His wish was to have me go to Kansas to give his mom the wedding of her dreams. So it changes up the formality of what we've been doing for 4 seasons. So you're going to see a lot of that. A lot of wonderful stories that are very emotional but very heartfelt, and stories that are meant to be told. And I really worked real hard this season to make sure that we bring to television and to the viewers heart, soul, emotion, most importantly, happiness.
Yeah, it's almost like the extreme makeover wedding style, if you will, right? I mean, you take these people and you give them what they've been wishing for and hoping for. That's got to feel real gratifying in the end, doesn't it?
It's really a wonderful experience for me. And I've been in the business 25 years, and I could probably say I've seen all of it. And in this situation, when you go in and you know that you're really there to make people happy, it's a massive responsibility, but it really is, as you said, so gratifying.
Yeah, and that makes what you do so important, and that's why people love watching the show.
Thank you so much.
My Fair Wedding with David Tutera is, and you've got your new collection. If you're planning a wedding and you want to give it that Tutera edge, you can go out to the store and get his stuff and bring a little of David Tutera to your house. David, thank you so much for talking to us and being so honest. It's such a breath of fresh air.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, good luck with your new show. Well, I should say your new season. Hello.
Yes.
Your new season, and continued success to you. Good luck. I love when guests just open up and they just say what they really think. You know, some of these satellite interviews are quite scripted.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very careful in what they say, but he was pretty honest.
Well, everybody hates the Kardashians, so it's easy.